In this session, we are going to look at how do we actually build an initial level dashboard using Tableau. So, as a part of the basic dashboard, basically we are trying to look at more than a single visualization, right? In a simple chart, we have built different kinds of visualizations. Now, as a part of the dashboard, I'm interested in looking at more than single visualization to communicate the complete story of a particular company or a project, whatever is the data that we are looking at. And this is what we call as a dashboard. When we talk about multiple visualizations coming together and presenting the full picture of the data, that is what we are referring to as a dashboard. So when we talk about in Tableau, it's a list of views. It's a collection of the different kinds of filters that you put on the data, different kinds of parameters, images. There are so many other things that we use along with our charts and visualizations that we have created. And the final objective is make it as much interactive as possible to the end user so that they can explore different dimensions of the data. That is what we are referring to as a dashboard. So from a dashboard standpoint, there are good number of purposes that it typically serves, and I can tailor it to the requirements of my organization. So if I simply look at one, I can get a summary, right? I can get a summary of sales, I can get a summary of profits, so that I get a good glimpse of the entire current status of the company. Or I can make it as much interactive as possible, right? My dashboard can be interactive. So where it should help all the users of the dashboard to drill down, to go into the details, where the opportunities are there, where the threats are there. So look at the data, understand the strong areas, the weak areas, the opportunities, etc. So it can be used across the domains as well. Probably right from the medical domain, probably doctors can use it very heavily. Right? The hospitals can use it very heavily. They can track the patient, diagnosis, procedures. Probably they can do much better decisions regarding the patient care. You can think of any industry, you can very well use analytics in that particular industry quite comfortably. And preparing a dashboard is preparing a multi-dimensional perspective of the data of that particular company. So we'll try to create one simple dashboard with whatever are the different kinds of sheets that we have created till date in Tableau. So we have done separately profit analysis location wise, right, or geography wise. We have done profit analysis, right, market wise, or we have done a profit analysis over time. So different kinds of profit analysis we have done, and we have used different kinds of visualizations for all of them. Now all I want to look at is how do I bring all of them together into one single dashboard, right? So that is what we are primarily interested in this particular session. So let's get started with the creation of that basic dashboard. All right, let's get into our Tableau worksheet. Now here, if you see, we have three icons: new worksheet, new dashboard. So I click on this new dashboard here. All right, now I get a different left hand bar altogether. Right, I have a bar chart, I have a line chart, I have a geo visual chart. different kinds of charts that we have created earlier or different kinds of worksheets that we have created earlier. That list is being shown here, right? And there are different kinds of options that are helping us to build the dashboard. So that is what is present as a part of our left bar. Now the different kinds of components, if we are seeing, let's get a small familiarity of the stuff. So here a list of all our worksheets. Now if you see sheet 1, bar chart, line chart, right? So here let's say I don't want sheet 5. If I simply delete it, I come here, it is deleted from here. So a lot of linkage exists. So it's a list of all the worksheets that are there in my dashboard, that are there on this workbook. They are all displayed in this dashboard section. And you can add these things. So this is the dashboard area. So what we can do, we can add any of these charts or any of these sheets just by dragging and dropping. So if I simply do that, drag bar chart, the dashboard is unavailable. Yeah, I did not connect to the dashboard, so I have connected now. It is coming. Okay, now let me take it back. So the bar chart, if I am removing from the dashboard, okay. So this was the situation, right? I can add these just by dragging any of these charts into this area. So once you drag it, the location will tell you where it is dropped, or even a double clicking also will add them to the dashboard. We'll do that. Next comes the multiple additional objects that you can add to the dashboard. So these are horizontal layout and a vertical layout. So they are more and more for getting a finer control of the entire layout. So I can specify a layout, and within that I can put my bar charts and line charts. Then text, more for giving labels, titles, etc. Images, I can just put some interesting images to convey the message about the data. And I can put some blank locations for like a reserving for something. A lot of these things additionally, apart from the various sheets, we can even insert these kind of things into our dashboard. Then the new objects, whatever we are introducing, should they be tiled or should they be floating? When you are saying tiled, so they are one beside the other. We'll see that. So one dashboard here, it would be next to the other. So there is like tile next to the other within that same container. Whereas when we are saying floating, one on the top of the other, one above the other, in successive layers, they are going to be created. Then this section is, once we create it, we'll see, it will help us to navigate through the entire structure of the objects. Different kinds of objects, one after the other, you can simply navigate through. So this is more for finding the list of objects that we have used as a part of the dashboard. And this is more talking about the size of the dashboard, right? What is the width of it, what is the height of it, blah blah blah. So once we build our dashboard, things become more and more easier for us. Now we'll pull all of them. Okay, the bar chart, either double click. So let me do a double click. Okay, the bar chart is pulled. Then I'll pull a line chart. Okay, I got it in this way, and probably I am getting the geo visual chart. Oh, I got the geo visual chart here in this way, one below the other, and the line chart is showing to the right. So double clicking, so it is added to the layout, and here it is showing how the layout of the dashboard is, right, tiled, and in this kind of a manner is what it is displaying to us. So there is an auto adjustment that is happening in the structure of the entire dashboard. Now we can add one kind of a title, right, to the entire dashboard. Now the text object I can drag here. From here, let's say I put it on the top. So what is the kind of text I can write? I can probably say profit analysis, right? I'll say profit analysis. Probably I can set my fonts and everything. So I have put something like a profit analysis, and all this thing can very well be manipulated out. Let's say I put a very big heading. We can plan it out, right? So okay, the profit analysis. So this is what we are creating as a part of the heading. So we can very well play around with the stuff. We have pulled the heading and we have put it at the top of the thing. And even once we have created it, we are also looking at each of these dashboards. Now here we have the display of it. Right now we have the display of it here. We can very well say we can adjust. So the fit is normal fit here. But if I say fit, let's say the entire view. Now that blank space is completely removed. Now here if you see, you select this, I say fit. Right now if I'm saying entire view, in this case it's the entire view because my data is basically starting from 0 and this is the kind of profits that are happening every period. So we can very well fit it. So whichever sheets where the other empty space is being occupied, it can typically start fitting into the entire view. So you can just play around with the different kinds of fit option. Now coming to this chart, right? We have a legend that is being shown here because whatever was there in the original sheet that is coming here. So if I am looking at the legend here, it is occupying too much of space for me. And I may not really be interested in having it because this is a kind of, this is the simple sheet which I really want. So probably I can simply the legend as well. Right, I can simply click on the removing of the legend. So wherein I could see that the space is much better utilized. Right, when something is more obvious, I really don't need an additional legend out there. Similarly, if I am going with the location part, right, now I can click on this location and I can simply get into so probably all I can do is I'll drag one simple text on the top of it and says the size of the circle represents sales. One simple note, if I simply leave it here, right, resize the stuff, simply leave that simple message saying size of the circle represents the sales. Now the larger is the size, people can easily understand that it is a representative of the sales, right? So a simple stuff we can very well do something like this. So here I am putting a kind, by dragging it down, I am putting a simple legend kind of stuff or simple note saying the size of the circle is representing the sales. Now okay, now I can even bring a little bit of more visualization into this stuff, which can clearly say, okay, now if I want to make it interactive, Right now we have coffee, espresso, herbal tea and tea. Now let's say I want a separate chart for each one of them. So the simple logic, I can make it more and more interactive. Let's say I want only the line chart for coffee and even the geo-visual chart for coffee only. The simple thing that Tableau is offering me is, here I go to this drop down and I say use this as a filter. The moment I am using it as a filter, look at the stuff. Click on coffee. I get the coffee specific line chart and coffee specific geo visual chart. Similarly, click on tea. I get tea specific line chart and tea specific geo visual chart as well. So similarly, herbal tea. I get line chart specific to herbal tea and the line chart specific to geo visual chart also more and more specific to the herbal tea. Espresso, the same kind. If you see here, the size of the circles were changing drastically. So you could very well play around the stuff. So that is what is the interactivity that we are talking of. So this is where we are bringing in lot of interactivity to our stuff. So depending on what we are selecting, the chart is updated accordingly. Right? So both the line chart, which is the profit over the time, as well as the profit across the different locations, now they are filtered exclusively specific to the product. So that kind of dynamicness we can very well create using the Tableau dashboard. It's a very initial level dashboard, but just to give you a kind of a flavor in terms of what all it can do. So in this example, we have tried making our initial dashboard interactive, right? You are getting opportunity to explore the data and analyze the data more deeper. You can even share this with the management as a tool to help them see and understand the data better so that they can take much better decisions at a quick time frame, right? So each of the product, they can quickly look at which geography, which over time, how the things have been. So they can very well change the marketing strategy, or they can take go ahead or shut down kind of decisions, right? These numbers can help them to be more aggressive in marketing and advertising, or right, they can even shut down the products. They can take different kinds of decisions. Of course, for taking these kind of decisions, obviously some kind of additional information and additional analysis also be required. But what Tableau is telling us is, you keep continuing digging the data, iterative process, you will be able to discover, analyze and create a story about the health of the entire organization. So that is the major purpose where you should look at using the Tableau, and definitely it can help in quick decision making process. All right. Thanks a lot for listening to this session. Thank you very much.